Technical difficulties on Facebook and Verizon, but thanks everybody so much for stopping by another live episode of Real Estate Titans. I am your host, Greg Fowler. Essentially traveling the marketplace, interviewing the top real estate professionals in our field, from realtors, lenders, builders, developers, residential or commercial, gathering their insight, inspiration, what really drives them, motivates them to the highest of highs, and what I would like to consider a real estate titan. Our very special guests. Where? So as you guys can see right here, there's two titans here. Jeff and Ashlee, guys, thanks so much for being a part of the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us,
buddy.
Appreciate it.
For sure. So we're definitely going to go into the typical questions that we normally ask, just kind of going through. So whatever you guys do as far as representing your brand and your message out to the masses, let's just dive right into it, I guess.
Let's do it.
So I guess tell everybody out there a little bit about yourselves.
So I'm Jeff Clark with Remax Advantage. I got licensed in 2007, so I started when the market was pretty bad. Okay. And business has been great ever since. Yes, I am known as Jerry Clark's son. Even though I don't look like it, I am Jerry Clark's son, and that's kind of what I'm known for. Okay. My dad's kind of a big wig out here and been doing it for a long time, and he's a great guy. So very cool. I got a good mentor and someone to look up to for that.
Okay. And that's awesome. In the background of that, and he has a phenomenal reputation. And
yeah.
I'd like to say that you do as well, you know, Jeff. Let's be honest here.
I got a last name that I got to stand up for.
You're on there. You're on the show for a reason. So, how about you, Ashlee? I mean, just introduce yourself a little bit to everybody.
I'm Ashlee Dovenbarger. I've been in the business for about 3 years, but I'm a third-generation realtor, so I'm following in my dad and my grandma's footsteps. So I always say I've been showing houses since I was like 5 years old, and somehow I'm still doing it. Awesome. But I love it, and I've got some really great mentors between my dad and Jeff, and love it.
Fantastic. And that's, you know, speaking to the team and you guys partnering up, I mean, is there anything you want to let everybody know about that as far as how you guys came about or got together as a professional team? I think that everybody should know that, right? Well, I know that's kind of an odd question, right? One time in band camp.
No, we kind of met through real estate, and because both of our dads are in the industry, so we had a lot to go off of and talk about, and real estate's not for every couple out there, so she gets what I say and I get what she says, and we can go out to dinner and talk deals, and it's still fun to both of us. But since her dad was in it, and you know, she was up in Denver, we kind of started talking through Facebook, and it's like, hey, let's send deals back and forth. And I was trying to send her a deal, and I closed the deal.
All right. which is good.
Which is good. Yeah, it turned out good.
The ultimate deal.
Yeah,
the ultimate
deal. Yeah.
Then he kidnapped me. And here it is.
So she works a lot of the commercial side of things too.
Okay.
So, and her dad does a lot of commercial stuff, and they're big for that up in Denver. So she can kind of handle the commercial side, the stuff that I don't like to do, the contracts. I get too bored with that, and I want to be on the street doing stuff. So
sure,
she has more patience, and she's more organized than I am, I guess.
Which is good for team. I mean, that's a dynamic duo,
yep.
Truly. You know, so you look at it that way. That's really good.
We have very opposite strengths and weaknesses, so we balance each other out really well, and we understand the commitment that real estate is, which, you know, I think is hard when the other person isn't in real estate. You understand the 9 p.m. phone calls and the writing contracts last minute at night, and so it's a good team. We've figured it out.
Which is great, and growing and continually doing that. It's huge, and representing the marketplace well, which is fantastic. So going into that, what's your why? I mean, what really motivates you guys, gets you out of bed in the morning to do what you do at the level that you do it at as a Titan?
My why, from a household, we have kids. We have 3 kids, 3 little boys.
Okay.
My why is because I believe that men still should be men, even though that's changed a little bit in this era of things.
Sure.
Men should be the man of the household and take care of everything. Well, you know, have the job, get the bills, and do all that kind of stuff. So my why is to get up and do this and provide for my family and provide for my kids. Getting into it with her was nice because it was a friendly competition. She always wanted to beat my numbers. And you're not going to beat my numbers. She's like, what happens when I do? Like, it was great. It was great. We were being a friendly competition, which was very nice to have. But at the same time, I didn't want her to beat me, so I kept pushing and pushing and pushing. So it just brings me up to a whole nother level. But my why is to take care of my family. That's number one. And I want to live my life. We want to go travel the world and do all that kind of stuff. And I want my kids to have what's best for them. I'm not going to give them the world. They're going to earn it. But if they need anything, I'm right there for them.
Sure. And you guys going into that and talking about it, I mean, we discussed this at the very beginning, before we went live, everybody, and before the technical difficulties. But what you guys do, in the balance, it's insane. I mean, just from an outward eye looking in, I mean, you're all about family, all about business, but you have fun and you travel, and it's just such a constant balancing act. So you got something going on there, that's working. So that's exciting for sure.
I don't know how we do it, but we do. We're
go.
So we're still
don't
young
stop.
and we want to have fun, and so we do it. We want to do things differently than the normal 9-to-5 lifestyle or job, and go work, come home, and do dishes and go to bed. We're not like that.
Right. Rinse and repeat sort of thing.
Pretty much, yeah. Everything, we don't know what's going to happen today, tomorrow. Right now we're sitting on this couch. We don't know where we're going
after a live interview. We don't know what's happening here. But I think going into that, so breaking it down as far as things that we've done to develop to the systems that you've gone through. So if you could, I guess, advise some other professionals that are maybe watching this out there, if there's anything that you guys have done as a team or as a group or individuals that way that have elevated your brand or taken your business to another level, what system or what process or what did you add that made that happen for you guys?
So before, being yourself is the biggest thing for me. I was always told to have a business Facebook and keep that away from your personal life, but I highly disagree with that.
Okay.
So I kept my own personal Facebook as my business page. And I would say, hey, look, here's a new listing I got coming up. Or, hey, I'm going out tonight. People go out, people have fun, but people trust me then because they know my family, they know my life. So everybody wants to go out and do something else and play and have fun in life. It's not just about work. So people can actually see and relate to me and the things that I'm doing. So people were more comfortable with me writing on Facebook instead of writing, a business. If you see a business Facebook page and they're Colorado Homes or something like that, you don't know who you're writing. If you're messaging them like, I like that house or whatever, you don't know who you're writing. But with me, people would write me and say, hey, I want to know what my house is worth or this kind of stuff, so people can relate and they get to know me off of a personal Facebook page.
Sure. Which is a big testament to your referral business and the majority of what you do. It's really partnering with these people, getting to know their kids, getting to know their family, and really growing with them and becoming a part of that with your brand. So, I mean, do you echo that too, Ashlee?
Yeah, it becomes long-term relationships. It's not just transactional. We don't just look for the next deal. It's building friendships and connections and keeping those and taking them long-term. And especially for him, his business is 98% referral-based. People come back, people refer him out because they trust him, and that's how we want to run things.
Sure. And again, that's a testament to how you're branding yourself and what you do as far as caring.
It also saves money on marketing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Who needs Zillow? What is that? What's going on there? Online leads. No, and that's great. I think that's great advice for everybody to focus on, as far as I'm concerned, the fundamentals and the basics. And a lot of professionals, they say, oh, get back to the basics. The true professionals never leave the basics. And it is a people business. I mean, there's all kinds of marketing and advertisement. I'm a complete nut when it comes to that with advertising. But at the end of the day, shaking hands, meeting people, getting involved in the community, it matters. It really does. And that's, again, another thing that separates you guys from everybody else that does what you do or what you can do.
Yep.
So that's a big takeaway for everybody out there, too. So I guess if you could look at it from a standpoint of challenges, because that's a big note that everybody kind of looks at, too, when it's simple, right? It's easy street. And that's not really separating us from anybody else. It's when life hits us hard, when we're down in the dumps, right? That's what really makes us who we are. And I believe that those challenges that we overcome truly molds and shapes us. And we all deal with it, all walks of life. But if you guys could take a look at a particular challenge or challenges that you've dealt with in your life, that you overcame, that made you stronger, what does that look like?
So I know that everybody has their challenges, but I'm a huge believer on it makes you what you do after the fact or what you do with it. Okay. Because everybody has those challenges. So when our son is running and he falls and he starts to cry, she wants to pick him up and give him a hug and comfort him.
Yeah, I get it.
I want him to get up and get on his own 2 feet by himself. We look at it kind of different ways. So I'm kind of like, hey, pick yourself back up. The best way to get back on your feet is to get off your ass, pretty much.
True.
So
Well
get up and just put in work. My biggest challenge is I had Crohn's disease. I was diagnosed kind of when I was getting started in real estate. So 2007, 2008, I was diagnosed with Crohn's. So then it became very severe. I actually had a few hours to live. If I would have eaten one more thing, I would have passed away. So I went into major surgery. They took out all my intestines. They took my colon out and all that kind of stuff. I still sold a lot of houses. I was in the hospital. I was transferred up to Denver. Again, my dad is out here, so I would do all the homework on the houses. I'd bring in the business, and my dad would go show them because I physically couldn't go do it. So for about 2 years, I was in and out of the hospital the whole time. So 4 major surgeries, but I'm here. So it's what I did afterwards. So I went with charity. I did a lot of charity events for it, and I just wanted to say, hey, it doesn't hold me back. I want to go kill it. Like, that's not an excuse to stop doing what I'm doing. A lot of people would have just quit and had people feel sorry for them. People usually don't know that about me, that I have Crohn's disease, until I say it. And they're like, what? Really? Crohn's disease? So I like speaking about it because a lot of people now write me on almost every other day basis, like, hey, I think I have Crohn's disease, or what did you do for it? Or can you guide me? Can you help me? Or, I had a little kid, his mom called me from the hospital, and a lot of it is suicide because the people can't live with it. So they call me and I help them out with it, and it feels good to give back in that way. So I want to be the example for it.
It makes you, it humanizes you, Jeff. I mean, you got to look at it that way. And there's so many real estate professionals out there that represent a higher level of brand or learning, or, they walk into the room and it's like, wow, they have their stuff together, right? They're such a professional person, but they don't know what's going on inside. And for you to be, humble enough to share that with other people who are dealing with that same issue or something along those lines is huge.
We're kind of like a swan. You see us like nice and peaceful up top, but underneath our legs are just going crazy.
That's a great example.
Well, I look like the nice peaceful one next to her.
I'm the crazy one underneath.
That's awesome. That's super good.
We have our challenges. I mean, we have family challenges. We have arguments and bickerments, but you get through them. It's what you do after the fact. It's what you do with it. That's all. No excuses. Don't bring an excuse to me. I've had it all. I've been there.
Just overcome and move forward. And I think that's a big testament to everybody out there who's watching or listening to this is, we all have those challenges. It's okay to break down. It's okay to reach out, but ultimately move on. There's so many things that we all deal with that are much worse than what we're going through right now. So hopefully, you're inspiring some people out there to reach out and just say it's okay. Move on.
100%.
Keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.
So I love that when it comes out. Now let's go to a slightly, softer topic into that. And I let everybody in. Thanks so much for sharing that, Jeff. I appreciate it. But if you guys could go back in time and advise your younger selves anything, a piece of advice or two, what might that be? Personally, professionally?
I would get my license earlier. It's been in my family for this long, and I waited until I was, I think, like 22 or something like that. And I mean, it was always in my blood, so I feel like I should have just done it earlier. And I want, hopefully, one of our children to follow in our footsteps. So, I'm going to have one of them get their license by the time they're 18 so they can help us out when we need it and carry on the legacy.
That is super good advice. And I think you got to agree with me on this one. 22 is still young. I mean, it's still earlier than the majority. Isn't the majority in their 50s as far as realtors across the United States?
Some of them, way more than that.
Yeah, so I mean, when you're talking about in your 20s, that's fantastic. I mean, doing it any earlier. When I see young 20s in the field, or literally, where was I? I was at an office the other day, and there was a young gentleman who was right out of high school.
That's what I would have done.
Right out of high school, and I'm thinking, wow,
On
brilliant. You're on it. You're an entrepreneur. You're going. You're growing. Talking about your kids and your family there inside that, any inkling as far as one or two that might stick out that you think are going to go that way? I mean, I know that's kind of hard to describe in there, but
by the holes in our walls at home, I think baseball is in store.
Okay,
yeah.
Is there?
I don't see any contracts.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's awesome.
They all have different routes. They don't want to go right now the real estate, but they're 3, 6, and 9. So
sure.
Yeah. They want to play
That's
sports.
The time to work on it.
I hear you. Yeah. Well, they'll see you guys as influencers into that, and if it happens, great, and if not, that's okay too. I mean, everybody has their own path going into it. So, how about you, Jeff? Anything as far as a piece of advice that you give your
getting into it early and just being yourself and just making it happen.
Okay.
Go different routes than a lot of people say. Okay, go read this book and follow these steps and do this. But a lot of people get into that realm and then they just follow what somebody else has done. If I would have done that, I wouldn't have figured out a lot of other stuff. You know, my dad kind of mentored me, but a lot of people will say, oh, he got into it because of his dad, or he's successful because of his dad. My dad's never sent me a deal. Not one time in my life. When I was getting started, I was like, Dad, we're on a team. Like, send me a deal. Send me a deal. And he wouldn't do it. And I was like, what am I supposed to do then? So it forced me to go out and get thrown in the fire and put myself out. So I learned my own tactics of how I'm going to get business. There's people that are on a team that the team leader will pay for the leads, and then they'll just send them leads. But then if they ever leave that team or they get separated, they don't know what to do. They could be in the business for 10, 15 years, and they won't know what to do. I've been approached by so many people that are like, how do you do this stuff? And they don't even know how. Or they've had the team name on the sign and not their own name, so they haven't built up their name. So I've been building my name for 10 years.
That's big.
I've never screwed anybody over in this industry, so I have a great reputation for that.
For sure.
And you just take care of people. But I've built myself, and I've learned what is right for me, and just being myself has helped me out big time.
So you'd read less books, is what you're saying.
I don't read books. I gotta learn
Wait
how
a minute, that's another question.
It's just an excuse for I don't know how to read, so
Audible.
Yeah.
No one reads anymore. No, but I think that's great advice. And you know, I read from that very specifically what you said is blaze your own trail.
Pretty much.
You don't need to necessarily follow the exact footsteps for everybody that's out there. You can take bits and pieces, right? But you got to make you got to make your brand and stand out. And we kind of discussed this, you know, before we went live. But you know, everything that you guys do is different and it's above board. It's not like the average real estate professional out there. And I think that not only the consumers get it because they latch onto your brand and what you guys represent, but there's a lot of professionals that have eyes on you guys as well. And I'm sure there's a few watching right now. So I just think that at the end of the day, we're like, at the end of the day, I think that's important just to remind ourselves, hey, where we came from and where we're at now. And there's still so much to go.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have so much more to give and so much business to have. I think it's fantastic.
we got a lot ahead.
So that's an awesome thing into there. So, okay, going into that category of books. So at the end of the day, what are you guys consuming as far as information? Now, it can be books, it could be podcasts, or it could be influencers on social media that are really driving you, that are motivating you. Is there anything that you guys can share for everybody else just to learn and grow?
I've got a stack of books like this big that I just haven't gotten to yet.
Okay. They're there. The intention's
yeah.
there. The intention's
Where?
If they're by my nightstand long enough, maybe it'll soak
Where'd
in.
you put those? They're in the library?
Yeah, in the library. No, but we, one of our biggest influencers is Frederick Eklund with $1 Million Listing New York. We love him.
Cool. Very
It's
cool.
just, he steps the game up and motivates us, and we love watching him and watching what they do. And
For sure.
We like to look up to people, but we also like to be the people that people look up to. We want to change it, so we love these shows. We love this, and for the longest time, I've always loved watching $1 Million Listing. It's just been great. It adds in their own flavor, their own taste. They do stuff differently out in California or out in New York than they normally do out here.
Right.
They throw parties at houses. They do all this kind of stuff. So we like to have fun with our own business. And so why not party while we can have business going and be happy and fun, and we love life. We love what we do. So, I mean, years ago, I was on HGTV, House Hunters.
I'll get out.
I was on TLC. I was on Sir Real Estate with TLC.
Very
so
cool.
I was always like, how can I do this kind of stuff or be on a show, which is free marketing basically for me.
Sure.
So we started that kind of stuff, and then we created a business called Clark's After Dark.
Okay.
So it's basically a
networking event.
Yeah, networking. So everybody's always invited, and you just network. You just put people together. Even if you don't have a business and you just want to come out and meet new people, we feature businesses like once every other month.
Okay.
So it's just not networking. It's just
It's about making genuine connections with people. It's not always about pushing your business. It's about just meeting new people and making new friendships and friendships that are going to last.
So everybody's invited, except for other agents, because we want to be the only real estate.
You guys got to stay out of this one. This is their idea.
Idea.
I think that's great, Jeff. That there's a lot of really good information in there. One video that I saw on you, I think it was from one of your listings, and again, testament of time as far as you being a little different.
I thought Google deleted that.
No, that was gone. That's a different video.
Oh,
That's a different show, everybody.
That's
That's right. So, but it reminded me of MTV Cribs. I mean, it was a beautiful home that it was your listing, and it felt like I was hanging out with you, and you were guiding me through this home, and very rarely do I see that. A lot of real estate professionals out there, and they do video, it's so stiff. it's so stiff and dry, and it's like, here's a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, and then you're like, why am I watching this? With yours, it just felt so genuine and so real. And
I don't even think I named how many bedrooms are in it.
you just
Probably
went through.
You knew where the bar was in the house, though. That's for sure.
I think there was a wine cellar. I think
Yeah.
So
That was years ago.
Yeah, it was a good one. But I think that, again, going into the branding and talking about what you were discussing earlier, it is real relationships, genuine nature. You guys are connecting people, whether they're in real estate or not. It is about the people.
Yeah.
And Clark After Dark.
Clark After Dark.
That very particularly is a great example of bringing those people together in the community that you work and that you eat, sleep, and breathe in. So that's great. And I definitely would love to go. I don't know if I need an invite or how does that normally work?
Did you bring his
invite? Okay, all right. Thank you. So going into it at the end of the day, and this is really to kind of wind the interview up. And again, thanks so much for your time, guys.
Thanks
I know
for
you're
having
super
us.
slammed,
Appreciate it.
and this is really cool. But going into it at the end of the day, what's your mantra? What quote do you live by? If you could sum up your brand out there for everybody, what does that look like?
We both have two ones that we literally live by.
I would say, it's kind of cliche, but the quote that if you love what you do, you never work another day in your life. And it's so representative of how we look at what we do. We so many times will be doing showings and going to appointments, and we're like, how does this work? Like, we love this so much, I can't believe this is work. Mm-hmm. So, that's kind of what we love. We love this, and we don't want to ever stop, and it's just part of our life, and we love it.
Perfect.
Mine is, you miss every shot you don't take.
Strong.
I go in there, even sometimes she's like, you're crazy, why'd you do that? Or, I've gotten stuff done that nobody else probably would have gotten done.
Sure.
So I just talk. I just go ask people for things, and I just go do stuff. Whatever I want to do, I just do it.
Right.
It drives her crazy sometimes, but it probably surprises her sometimes because I get stuff done, and I just, whatever.
Sure.
I don't care. Okay, I'll make that offer for you.
That's it.
That's a stupid offer, but I'll do it for you. It's okay. I'm representing you.
Worst case, they say no, right?
Exactly. You miss every shot you don't take, and that's with almost everything in life. We just go do it. People are like, how do you do so? You guys do so much, or we travel so much. We just do it. She wants to go somewhere, or we just booked Dubai, and she's like, let's do it.
So
okay,
exciting.
let's do it. Let's just go do it. So make it happen.
I think that's a testament, again, continually to your brand and what you guys represent out there in the community. And just so everybody knows, this is a small percentage of the true energy that these guys exude. I mean, this is awesome. Behind the camera, you should see it. It's amazing. I mean, the energy is just intoxicating. And I think that, anybody that knows you guys can see that, just what you bring and what you do for everybody that's in your lives, personally or professionally. So, keep it up. You guys are definitely titans when it comes down to it. And I would say
thank you very much.
You are officially real estate titans. So thanks so much. Again, thanks so much for being on the show, guys. Truly appreciate it. So everybody out there, hopefully you enjoyed the content today's episode. Thanks so much for your time and attention. Again, this is live every Tuesday and Friday afternoons around 2 to 3 o'clock time frame. So hopefully we'll catch you on the next one, which should be Friday. So have a good day, everybody. Thanks.
Bye.
And we are...
Didn't record.